spirits and the supernatural. I want to welcome you to the show this evening. Tonight's show we have on the Zodok Group. Naajiy will be on with us this evening. Bill, are you with us?
Yes, I am, Dr. Rob. How are you doing this evening?
Welcome. Well, we had to do the show from two different cities today, so there might be some technical difficulties, but I do welcome you to the show this evening. How is the weather up in Cincinnati right now?
Today was an exceptionally warm day. It was 85.
Wow, you're almost matching Florida weather, for sure.
A freaking nature.
Well, I know when I was there a few days ago, it was rather chilly, and yesterday it was starting to warm up, so hopefully when I get back in a few days, it'll be just as warm. I was telling the listeners, I don't know if you heard, but we have on Naajiy, which is the head of the Zodok Group. And the Zodok Group basically is to inform us about what's happening with extraterrestrials through astral projection, communicating with them, as well as several other topics that we're going to be discussing with us this evening. I've been trying to get him on the show for the last 6 weeks, but he's only able to do radio on Sundays, and so it's been a rather difficult time with it, but since we do have the ability to pre-record some of our shows, we are able to have him on this evening. So I do look forward to hearing some messages from those in outer space, for sure. We've had a lot of exciting times up in Cincinnati over this last month, and do look forward to continuing our broadcast from that area. One of our most popular shows was our Covington, Kentucky Magnetic Hill show. You remember going there?
Yes, that was very interesting and a very entertaining show.
Yeah, it was rather cool to go up there and check out the hill and to broadcast from there, the spiritual experiences there. And the Vernon in Indiana area as well have been rather exciting. So, we've had a lot of exciting shows. We do encourage you to go back into the archives and listen to the archives and some of the shows that we've done over this past month. And so we look forward to hearing some of your comments and feedback. And I have been really excited about having on Naajiy for the last 6 weeks. And Bill, when he is on the air with us, please indicate so and let me know, and that way we can go right to him. Yes.
We do. I believe we do have Naajiy on the line from the 718 area code.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and click on him.
Naajiy, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Billy is my co-host, who will be co-hosting with me this evening, and so we look forward to hearing your story. I did a little pre-interview with you prior to the show, and I kind of asked you to give us a little bit of history about your group and about who you are and what your message is.
The group, basically, we just, deal with esoteric information, and we decided a little while back, to come forth and try to explain some of the esoteric secrets. A lot of these mystical orders, they want you to join and promise you that they're going to raise your kundalini and open your third eye and all that stuff. So we wanted to come out and explain all that stuff and what it deals with and, throw in a little scientific information with it. And basically that's what we have been doing, trying to... there are a lot of people out here that have spiritual issues or problems and experiences, and they don't know exactly what is going on with them, and, the information is misleading. So we were basically trying to set the record straight and explain some of the great mysteries and secrets with this energy that is mistakenly called Kundalini.
Oh, cool. Okay. And so how long has your group been available to the public?
Well, now we're not really available to the public because we're focusing on other things. We're trying to prepare for what is about to take place on the planet, basically.
Okay.
And so we're not really dealing with the public, at large that much. We have an inner circle that we deal with, and we do welcome people, the emails and all that, but we're not really trying to connect with the public anymore because we pretty much said what we wanted to say. We did the show, I think, for about a year and a half, or maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. Well, can you tell us a bit about the message that you have put out there? I mean, just in the briefest form.
Well, first of all, the most important message is that we must learn to love each other, divine love. We must have that in us, right? And we've been telling people all along that that's the most important ingredients on this journey, and no one can return to back to what we call God except by having divine love in them. And we started to explain that stuff by raising the Kundalini energy, taking it from the root center to the crown center and beyond, giving human beings their God-like abilities or qualities back within them, having it restored, turning on the light, as they say. And it's a very long journey because most people really don't make that journey, but it can be done, So we went through all that explaining what Kundalini is and opening up the third eye and listening to the celestial tones and sounds that people will hear as they start to evolve along the spiritual path, learning to take the etheric body or the soul and travel beneath the physical reality. We explain all that stuff to people, and a lot of people thought we were crazy. They still do, and I don't care about that because, you're going to get people who are like that anyways, skeptics or whatever.
It's true, yes.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of judgmental people out there for sure. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I agreed with him that you'll get skeptics in any type of religion or any type of belief system that anyone has,
Yeah.
And
so
can you tell us a little bit about what
basically,
Kundalini is? Go ahead.
Basically, we wanted to take the religious nonsense out of it and explain it somewhat in a scientific, way and give people, a better understanding of what they're dealing with. Because what people mistakenly call Kundalini is really electromagnetic energy, and it's dealing with the total spectrum of energy, vibration. And so we must learn to control this energy in us and keep ourselves balanced. With this when this energy is released or activated in a person. So it becomes, that's when the journey really begins, when it's activated in you, release, and it's lying dormant in all of us. Everyone has this energy in them lying dormant. But when it's activated or released, it becomes a problem because if you're not balanced, then you can be fanatical. You could be extremely, want to be spiritual or extremely, the opposite of that, So to be balanced with this energy is where you're going to have your sense of sanity,
I see.
And
so
I really believe...
Can you give us a brief definition before we go any further about what Kundalini is and what it isn't? I mean, I know a lot of people may have an understanding, but I'd like to get your definition and kind of get some information from you about it.
Well, I have, my opinion is what it is. It is the God force of energy that's throughout all the universe, the seen and unseen. It's a total spectrum of vibration. And I know when we say God, or what we're calling God, to me, it's like it's a vibration. It would be the vibration in all of creation, seen and unseen. And we have to learn to elevate our vibration to the point to connect with this field, what people call the field, right? And live in it and enhance our life. It's in all of us. It's a part of all of us. But if we don't learn how to utilize what's in us, and that's where you have your, misfortunes. So to me, it is God. It's the God in all of us. Because if what we're calling God, if it truly exists, it would have to exist in everything simultaneously. You wouldn't have to look for it in a church or in a masjid or whatever. You would have to learn to tap into it within your own being. And that's why we say sometimes you say, I searched for God and found myself, and I searched for myself and found God. So
that makes sense. God's supposed to be eternal and in all places and all things. A lot of Christians believe that, but they still feel like they have to be there on Sunday morning to attend the service in order to, connect with God. It doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it does not, because that's the part that keeps you under the spell when you start thinking like that. And most people are under these religious spells. I don't care what religion you pick out; it's the same crap.
Right.
And basically what we tell people, it doesn't matter what religion you have or what you call yourself or what little fancy title you picked out for yourself. If you don't have divine love in you, you're not prepared for this journey. And that would be the true religion, divine love, unconditional divine love for everyone on the planet.
And so what is this journey that we are about to partake in? I know that you mentioned at the top of the show that, you're kind of preparing for what's to come. Basically, what is to come? What is it? What is the message that we're supposed to prepare ourselves for?
Well, basically, people on this planet were supposed to be ready for this shift. We're going through a really all the planets within our solar system are going through, I guess, what you call a vibrational upgrade. And people were supposed to be ready for this, but most people are not. So we should have been ready to make the shift along with the planet and upgrade our vibrational energy. But most people are trapped in the lower vibrations, and that's when it becomes a problem, because when you're living in a world like that and most people are really walking around in a low vibration, then you generate, you're basically dealing with the negative aspect of it. And with this, as you learn to raise this energy through your body, and as it exits out of your crown center, and as they call it, you become one with the universe or universal consciousness, then your journey is complete. And by way of that, you will... Yeah, go ahead.
No, what I was going to ask you is that, just for the sake of those who are not up on all the esoterical information, what is it they can do to raise their vibration to, connect with that universal energy? I know that you use Merkabah and some of the other, forms, but, what is it how is it, that I can do that for myself?
By learning to love without lust. When we get concerned about each other, just like you're concerned about yourself, and you learn to love without lust or without any hidden agendas, then you vibrate, you raise your vibration automatically. You start to, and this is what the problem is. Extraterrestrials don't come to people. I mean, the ones who are trying to help mankind, they don't usually come to people who are on a negative vibe. You got the ones who are trying to work against us. They will step to you and, create all these little, all these little realities for you in your world and make you think that you're great and you're special, and so you have a battle that's going on. Now with this Kundalini energy, you fight a mental battle within your own mind, and if the lower nature in you succeeds and overcomes the higher nature in you, then that's what you're dealing with, the negative aspect of this energy. So the whole idea is to raise this energy to the crown center and to win that battle with the lower self and become like God and love everyone.
Okay. So, you mentioned extraterrestrials. Are they kind of helping you with this message to prepare us for the shift that's coming?
Yeah, well, they have passed on information to me, and certain people do have this information. I'm not the only one.
Okay.
Okay,
when we come back from our break,
journey,
I definitely want to hear more about. When we come back from our break, I definitely want to hear more about this for sure. Before we went on our break, Naajiy, you were giving us some information about, receiving messages from extraterrestrials. How did that all come about?
Well, extraterrestrials have the ability to speak to you. Once you are, as they call it, that third eye center opens up, whatever, they have the ability to speak to you telepathically. And originally when they started coming to me, I didn't know who they were or what they were and what they wanted with me. So I really was afraid. I was afraid of them. And, it took me a while to accept the information that they were passing on to me, because it was not anything that we were taught as, in our educational system or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So they started telling me things about me.
How long ago?
That was in early 80s, probably like 83. Yeah,
and where were you when the first time it happened?
Well, I was actually, just relaxing in my living room, basically, and I mean, I would see these entities, but I didn't know what they were, and they, sometimes I would be sleeping or laying down relaxing, I would feel this energy start to move up in me, and I would become afraid and shake it off, when this energy starts to move up within you, your body, you'll start to feel like you're paralyzed or you can't move. And so I would get that feeling, a lot of times when I lay down and relax, and I didn't realize they were trying to really elevate my consciousness at the time. I was just terrified of that feeling and the thought of losing control, So this went on for a while. They were trying to reach me. And finally it was recommended to me that I go speak to someone about it, this great spiritual master, and he explained to me who they were and pretty much what they wanted with me. And, I had to accept that. And, and so he told me, I told him I was afraid of him, and he told me, he said, if they wanted to hurt you, they could have been hurt you. And I thought about that, and that was true. So he told me, learn to relax. And I followed his advice, and, they appeared to me again, and I just relaxed, and they pulled this energy up out of me and started to speak to me. And it changed my whole life,
And what did they look like when they appeared to you?
They're etheric beings. They call themselves, they refer to themselves as Etherians. Now, the ones who dealt with me, they do come out of the Orion constellation, but they refer to themselves as Etherians. And they are the same beings who are referred to in what we call the biblical days, the Elohims. They are the same. Back in those days, I guess they called them angels or whatever, but they are the same entities, beings that's been coming here for thousands and thousands of years, And somewhere with the religious story got all a little crazy, But, they explain the history of the planet, who they were, where they came from, and where we came from, basically,
Well, can you tell us a bit about that person that you received?
Excuse me?
Can you tell us a little about, how the Earth was formed and a little bit about what they told you?
Well, basically, I don't want to go into the whole details with that, but basically we did evolve from, evolution is real, that's obvious, but, they caught us in, I guess, a Homo erectus state, and they, I guess, in a sense, tapped into our DNA. And some of the people here on this planet are what they consider hybrids. They have that DNA in them, so those are the ones that they are really interested in, And I didn't realize at the time that's why they were interested in me, and I had to accept that. I didn't want to deal with that reality, I was in denial when they started explaining these things to me, But I have no problem now, of course.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now you have proof.
Yeah.
Years of experience with them, definitely leads to belief for sure. Now, you said in the Homo erectus state is when they interacted with us. So, we're talking about, a million years ago, or?
Yeah, well, most people who follow the religious nonsense, they think the planet is only 6,000 or 7,000 years old, and life began with Adam and Eve and all that. That's nonsense. That's just. Mm-hmm. You're talking about periods of the planet been replenished. We have went through different pole shifts and disasters and all that, and they always come back and I guess check in on us and see how we're doing. So that part of the religious nonsense is just and that's why we don't like to get into this religious debate with people, because we're dealing with the scientific evidence and facts, and leave all the religious nonsense out of it. You can match it all up, but they're talking about religious, the biblical stories and the scientific evidence and all that. It can all be matched up, So the ones that were dealing with me, they were explaining. They have explained things and told me why I was here, my purpose of being here, and I didn't want to accept that. I was like a young man having fun, running around in the city having fun. I didn't think extraterrestrials or anything would step to me, and then you wonder why are they coming to me. So all those things I had to accept, and I did not want to accept it. Because you run the risk of sounding like a nut. You run the risk of sounding like a nut when you start talking to people about stuff like this,
Yeah. course. Well, here at Dr. Rob Spirits and the Supernatural, we accept people from all viewpoints, and so I do appreciate you sharing your story with us, for sure, because it's a very unique story in the sense that you have the bravery to actually step forward and tell the truth. And so I just want to let you know that we're not here to judge you, and our listeners don't judge anyone. We're just here to hear your information, and the message that you have. I believe that, the God force is found in all religions and in all people. And, your point of view or your worldview is different than mine and Bill's, of course. And so, to be able to hear from you is a great honor. And so we do appreciate you taking the time out, this evening to share your story with us. Now, I'm really fascinated because, I've studied ancient history for years. And, there are stories from the ancient Egyptians all the way to the Mayans, the Incas, the Aztecs, and they've told of these, beings from outer space coming, and becoming like gods to them. And, there's even, pictures of them, carved into the tops of mountains. Bill, I do remember seeing that show with me the other day. I was telling you, on YouTube, where we saw several of the videos of these extraterrestrials coming, in the last, month and a half. There probably was about 50 or 60 sightings throughout the world. Is this part of that race of people, or are they actually coming here in a physical form, with spacecraft, or is it only in a spiritual form?
No, they do travel in spacecrafts, but, it's not like most people think. I mean, they have the ability to, travel beyond the speed of light. I mean, when they taught us that nothing can travel beyond the speed of light, that's nonsense. So many of these things were.
Have you traveled with them?
Yeah, I have been taken up. Yes. Yeah, but the way most of them come in here, most of them that do come in here, they dematerialize, and when they get beyond what they call the Van Allen belt, then they rematerialize. I mean, so, there are many ways of coming in here. They can create a vortex or whatever and step in here. So they have different ways of coming in here. It's true. But, so the ones that were dealing with me are from Orion, and, you have different species of extraterrestrials here. They have been here for a very long time. It's not, dealing with the government and different agencies within the government or whatever, that's been going on for a while. So, most people, when you talk about extraterrestrial whatever, they think it's just little green men from Mars. That's nonsense. Some of them are very humanoid. They have the humanoid look where you can't really tell if they, are human or not. Some of them are hideous like reptilian creatures. All those beings really do exist. It's just, who this government decides to deal with.
And I heard it's difficult to get pictures of extraterrestrials, that they almost know before you're going to take a picture. Is that true?
Well, most of them are telepathic. They can reach them. They can tap into your mind. So if they if they choose to let you do that, but they have the ability to tap into your mind, and they know what you're going to do. They know your thoughts. So But the whole thing is that most people think this is crazy or nonsense when you're talking about extraterrestrial. And this is what I want to say. The people that they're calling the angels or whatever from the biblical days, they are the extraterrestrials. They are, and some of them are negative and some of them are positive, but they are the extraterrestrials. And they've been coming here for a long time. All those stories in the Bible or whatever, it gives you reference points to, supernatural beings coming down. They are the extraterrestrials. And that's the hardest thing to get humans to realize, that we're not alone in this universe, And especially people with this religious crap or Christianity crap or whatever, because if they want to make Jesus to be the God of the universe or the God of this planet, would he be the same God of these extraterrestrials too? No. He's one of the extraterrestrials that they they don't call him Jesus. They do refer to him as Sananda.
Okay. Sananda?
Sananda.
You said that you were able to travel with them. Did you travel to a particular planet or just to that area of the universe they were from?
No, when they were coming to me, they were taking me up sometimes the etheric body, and they can take the physical body too. Now, certain beings on the planet, let me say this to you, certain people on the planet now have the ability to go from a physical state into an energy state, or etheric state. They can raise the vibration by controlling this Kundalini energy within them, right? Moving this energy up mentally and causing the seats of light, what you call the chakras, to rotate at a certain speed. When they rotate beyond the speed of light, it gives you the ability to go into an energy state or etheric state. So certain people on the planet have the ability to do that by controlling the rotation of this energy, moving it up mentally. As the energy moves up, it increases in power, and the vibration changes with each seat, and right into the point where you go from a physical state into an etheric state or energy state. So we should all have been able to do this on the planet, but most of us can't do this. Most of us have not raised this energy to the point to be able to do that. And that's what the problem is. So people who don't have a clue about what this energy is and how to use this energy, they would never know that it exists within them. So the extraterrestrials are stepping to people who have the ability to do that, because they can take you out of here upon the destruction of this planet. You'll change right from a physical being into an etheric state, and after this destruction, you'll come right back and start all over. And I know that sounds crazy.
I guess it is just a little bit hard for us to grasp, but I don't think it's crazy at all. I think there's a lot of things that are not explainable and are quite possible.
Okay, let me explain it to you this way then. E equals MC squared, right?
Yeah.
Mass and energy is the same, right? Mass can be converted to energy, and energy can be converted into mass. When Kundalini is raised to beyond the crown center, it gives you the ability to go from a physical state into an energy state or etheric state. Now you have the ability to go up and down the scale of vibration by raising this energy mentally and causing your chakras to rotate to the point of beyond the speed of light, and you go through a dematerializing process. Your whole physical body. You can take the etheric body, you can project it out, or you can take the etheric body and line it up with the physical body and cause your whole body to go into to dematerialize, go from a physical state to an etheric state. These are the people that they are interested on this planet, because they are the ones who have taken this Kundalini energy beyond the crown center. Now they what you call Christ-like, the Buddha, the Muhammad, all the names they give those people who have reached universal consciousness. So these are the people that the ETs are interested in, because they're saying we're going to take these people out of here and bring them back after this destruction, this pole shift that we're about to go into.
At the end, repopulate the earth.
Exactly. And clean up the ruins.
And, do things differently in the future.
This is what the information they shared with us, and they explained to us, and they showed us this. This is why you're here. This is what you're supposed to be doing. And I didn't want to accept this, and then I rebelled. I was trying to find an excuse not to deal with it, like to accept it or whatever. But I have no problem with it now, because in my world it's real. You may say this guy sounds crazy, whatever. But I went through all that denial and, trying to play head games with myself and all that, trying to find every excuse to, not to believe or whatever. And so they're telling us that this planet will be destroyed, right? Totally destroyed.
Yes.
Going to wipe away all this, And, we had a pole shift, 12,000 years ago almost? And the evil Greys were one created that pole shift. So, it's always something like this going on somewhere, in the universe.
Wow. Are you, am I on the air, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. So in 2012 is when the destruction is going to happen, or the beginning of the destruction?
No, that's the beginning of it. What they are expecting in 2012, they are expecting something to fall out of the sky, asteroid or something. That's what they are really expecting. But that's only the beginning of it. This thing is going to last up until maybe 2030 or something. But that will be the beginning of it.
I see. And so have they given you a special message for us as far as, how we can prepare as a race for this changeover, or is it just something that we're just going to have to go through?
People should be in survival mode for those who are planning to survive this, right? But most people are not in survival mode because they don't have a clue about what's going on. And most of the governments around the world, they know this. They have this information, but they're not going to share it with people because, as a matter of national security, whatever, they don't want the economy to collapse completely, whatever, so they choose not to share this information with you. So people should be in survival mode. Do the research and do it until your heart is content or whatever, and, you don't have to believe anything I tell you, and I really don't care if anyone believes me because I'm doing my part by getting the information out. And that's all I can do is just tell people like I'm told to tell people, and that's it, and try to answer people questions who are having problems, spiritual issues or whatever, esoterically. They want to go into explaining this energy and dealing with it and how to control it. That's what I'm here for. And I get a lot of people trying to come out and attack me because I told people about the sacred tone. I told people about the tone who, that every soul in the universe had to tune themselves to that cosmic tone. All that stuff we explained to people, and they were angry and upset with me because they said, oh, you started talking to people about things they should know, because most people go to these secret mystical orders and they charge them hundreds and hundreds of dollars for this nonsense, and that sacred name was given to me and freely, so I don't charge people for nothing. We're not trying to promote anything. We just come out and tell what we were told to tell.
I see. I'm sorry, I got disconnected from the show for about 5 minutes there while you were giving that explanation. Did you give out the name, the sacred name?
I've been telling people it's Hu. It's not Hugh, as people have been purposely mispronouncing that name. It's like this. When this energy is taken to the crown center and beyond, and you start to hear what they call the music of the spheres, you start to hear that music. Now you're talking about someone who has this energy balancing and is harmonized, and you start to hear what they call the music of the spheres. You hear it with your inner hearing. From the hearing the music of the spheres, it leads right up to the sound Hu, where you actually hear it with your inner hearing. When you hear that sound, that's what they refer to as the word in the flesh. Now you have become the Hu personified in the flesh.
Okay. Say the word one more time slowly, because I think that
Hu.
Our listeners maybe. What is it?
Hu. H-U. Hu.
Hu. Hu. Okay.
It's not Hugh, like the Eckankar people say. It's Hu. And that name was given to me. That name was given to me by these beings. And
so you just say the name over and over again to raise your vibration? Like kind of like a mantra?
And you meditate. You know how when some people say, what do I meditate? What do I think about? Sit and meditate and think about that. Close your eyes and look inward and think about that. Bring your attention to that.
Okay. And is there any other things that we should say along with that, or just concentrate on that word?
Just concentrate on it. Because that is what you want to put in your subconscious mind. That is what you want to attract in your subconscious mind. That tone, that sound, and vibration.
And say it one more time for us.
Hu.
Hum. Hum. Okay.
H-U.
H-U. Hu.
Not Hugh. Hu.
No. Hu. Very cool. Very cool. Now, can we go back for a moment to one of the things you said a few minutes ago? You said, they can travel by spacecraft, at the speed of light, but you also said they have a ability to open vortexes. We've done several shows on energy vortexes here on the planet. Is it those types of vortexes that they're opening, or do they open up their own kind of portal and, it could be anywhere?
They can open up a portal and step right into our reality. But there are vortexes, certain locations on the planet, right, that do exist. But they have the ability, because what they're actually doing is dropping their vibration. They can put on the human body like a coat, pretty much just, it's like you and I are in a physical body, right? If you raise your vibration to the point where you become light, an energy body, right, then you defy what you call the laws of gravity, because you're dealing with tachyon energy. right? Tachyon energy that has no gravitational attraction at all. So these beings have the ability to raise and lower their vibration and put on a physical body like it's a coat and walk around, look like human beings or whatever, and continue vibrating right back into an energy state, what they are really, like pure energy, basically. What they call angels are really electromagnetic energy.
Wow.
Everything is energy. Everything is energy. We are just different states of what you call etheric matter. We're physical. As you raise your vibration more and more, you become more light, what you call an energy state. So they have mastered this. They have the ability to go back and forth. And we should be able to do this too and not be spooked out about it.
And be able to travel in the same way?
Yeah, because when you're dealing with those, what they call the chakras, you're creating what they call the Merkaba, right? When you get those seats of light to rotate to the speed of, beyond the speed of light, that gives you the ability to be anywhere in the universe by what? Traveling in your etheric body and raising and taking the physical body with you. So that's what really creates the Merkaba. It's your whole electromagnetic force and the energy within it, the tachyon energy that you have to learn to control and mentally move it up and down, and in vibration. So as the energy moves up, it increases the rotation of each center, right? What they call the centers, which are really vortex. They are really rotating fields of energy. That's what they are. So when you learn how to control these rotating fields of energy to the point where you can become transparent and continue vibrating, moving on, then you dematerialize. You go into an energy state, which will not be detected by the five physical senses. And now you can drop your vibration, become solid again, physical. This is what we're supposed to be able to do on our spiritual journey here. But because the whole planet been dumbed down, and now when you talk to people like this, they think it's crazy. But by learning to raise this Kundalini energy beyond the crown center, it gives you the ability to do that. And there are people on the planet who can do that.
A lot of people.
Go ahead, Bill.
About how many people on the planet, humans, can you estimate can do this? Well,
they say it's 144,000 who can do it.
So
I see, and the rest of...
This is what they're saying.
I'm sorry, Billy, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
This is what they're saying. They're saying 144,000 on the planet have the ability to do that. They are the people who have raised the Kundalini beyond the crown center and become, as they call, one with the universe. They are the ones that are hearing the music of the spheres. Now you're talking about, as they say, a Christ-like being, Buddha. They are the ones who have this ability to do this. Everyone on the planet can't do it, but, everyone is evolving to the point where they should be able to do that. And somewhere, and those people are going to be recycled somewhere, wherever they're going. But they saying now that they know for sure that there are 144,000 hybrids on the planet who have the ability to do that. And so they can take those people from a physical state to an etheric state by controlling the rotating fields of energy, what people mistakenly call chakras, which are really seats of light. So now you're talking about people who can go from a physical state to an energy state or etheric state and slow down their vibration and become physical again. Because It's like this. Heat is the vibration of molecules. So you're speeding up your molecules, you're speeding up your vibration, so they can go from a physical state to an etheric state and back and forth.
So this is kind of like the 144,000 that we read about in the Bible that are supposed to be the chosen ones. So the message that they have been purporting, now is that only 144,000 that are in history, or is that only 144,000 that are alive today?
They are alive today, and they are men and women. They're not just men, as people have been told, they're all men, and no, they're men and women who have the ability to do that. And these are the people that these extraterrestrials from Orion, at least Orion constellation, they're interested in these people because they're saying that these people are from them. and they must take them out of here before this destruction that goes on. Now, they are supposed to be taken out of here shortly before 2013.
And so this is kind of what the rapture is about that we read about in Revelation.
Yeah. All that stuff in the Revelation, the rapture, it all matches up scientifically. And that thing they talked about in the book of Revelation, New Jerusalem descending down out of heaven, that is the planet X that they're talking about. That is the Nibiru that they're talking about. So it does matches up in the scripture, but from what they're telling us now, that we're not under any religions now. We're not under that stuff now. That doesn't matter, all that religious stuff, because they have already put a seal of protection up on those people who they're supposed to take out of here.
Now, are they physically going to come back and take them out, or are they going to take them out through the...
They're going to be taken up physically. They will be taken up physically whole, physical bodies whole up out of here.
And are they going to take them out by a spacecraft or some kind of ship, or how is that going to work?
They can do it both ways because, like I said, these beings have the ability to go from a physical state to etheric state, an energy state. There will be many more sightings, UFO sightings. You will see this, and you're going to have the negative ones here dealing with people, and you're going to have the ones who are trying to help people, on this path or whatever. So, but they do have the ability to take you out of here physically, pull you up, and dematerialize you into a wormhole or whatever. Basically, that's what you're dealing with.
And so they're going to take us back to where our ancestors come from, basically.
Yeah, well, most of the people here, do have some type of ET connection, descendancy, They're just not aware of it. Some people are waking up and starting to realize that, you got those people walking on the planet who get this buzzing and ringing in their ears all the time, the high-pitched hissing sound and buzzing and ringing, right? If you're one of those people, when you sit down at night and you hear this high-pitched hissing sound and buzzing sound, that's a signal that's being sent out. That means that certain extraterrestrials are in contact with you. They can speak to you by way of that signal and telepathically, and you'll know what to do and where to be when it's time to go. So a lot of people are getting that experience, they're getting that buzzing and ringing, and you can use that same sound to really travel on it. That's why we call it sound traveling. When you sit down and you hear that high-pitched hissing sound, listen to it, and it can cause your crown center to open up, and your etheric body is stepped right out of your physical body. But you have to learn to control that, to move it in and out of your body at will.
Okay.
And when you learn to control that, you want to be
using astral projection then.
They call it astral projection. Yeah, they call it astral projection and all that, but it's really sound traveling. It's the sound that moves you up.
I see. And so, we've noticed that recently, there's a lot of new drugs out there, and one of these conditions is called ringing ear syndrome, where they actually give you a medication to kind of block this ringing in your ear. Would you say that's kind of a conspiracy to keep these people from getting the message?
Probably more than likely. That's what it is. I wouldn't suggest taking that. And, a lot of people are experimenting with all different type of things, and this is something we should be able to do naturally, is listen to that sound and relax. And that sound will cause the crown center to open up. You'll feel your whole body start to vibrate, and that's what you call etheric body will move right through your crown center. But the whole thing is to learn to control that and not be afraid. A lot of people get that sensation come over them where the body feels paralyzed, and they'll try to shake it off because they're afraid of what's going to happen. When you feel that sensation, go with it. Learn to move the energy up and down mentally. Think to it, because energy follows thought. By you thinking where you want it to be, that's where you'll find yourself.
I see. Wherever, that is that you want to be, whatever you concentrate on, that's where you'll be.
Exactly. You think yourself out. Yeah, if you listen to the sound, you hear like a high-pitched hissing sound. Sometimes it starts off with a low buzz, and it goes into a high-pitched hissing sound. After that, you just learn to relax and merge with that sound. And after that sound, it goes into different tones, different octaves. You start hearing flute-like sounds, and then as you one of those beings they're trying to reach, you start to hear like really this celestial music They call it the music of the spheres.
Oh.
So really is a blessing, it's not a curse then?
No, it's not.
Because I have a client who lives in Texas who has been really concerned. He's young. He's probably 23, 24, and he's developed this ringing in his left ear. And, he's gone to the doctor, and the doctors haven't been able to diagnose exactly what's wrong. And, they pretty much told him that, eventually it'll go away, but he's just going to have to live with it. And it's really becoming maddening for him personally because it's a lot of stress, to have this, ringing in the ear. And I know there's a lot of other people that are suffering from the same thing. So, I really appreciate, you sharing this with us because, that might be an answer to a lot of their questions as far as, suddenly it appears one day, but it wasn't there, and then it goes away. Going back to the hybrid, what you talk about as being hybrids, it's kind of like Dan Brown and the theory of, the blood of Jesus. With mixing with our DNA over the thousands and millions of years, some of us have more DNA than others. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, we have, the 12 strands, DNA strand, yes, that's true. And once the third eye is open, it's like this, that what they call in the third eye is a pineal gland, right? It has a little thin hair-like substance attached to the back of it, and as it vibrates, it puts you in tune with different frequencies and realities. That's what it's all about. That, along with the pituitary gland, once those glands start to work in harmony or whatever, it produces that sound in you. You tap into what they call the field. It's very easy to raise this energy, kundalini. The hardest part of dealing with it is to bring it under control because you're dealing with an aspect of your subconscious mind.
And so it can bring back all kinds of emotions and all kinds of,
yes,
feelings that you wouldn't normally have.
Yes.
I see. So it's not something that you just want to sit down one day without any kind of training and just start doing then?
No, you really need to be aware of what you're doing, what you're attempting to do, and you got to be, it's not an easy journey. With me, it took me almost 20 years to bring this energy under control.
Wow. And how did you finally control it? What were the steps that you took to control the energy?
Well, initially I didn't have any control over it. I was running buck wild, and I knew I was able to do certain things by, thinking about it, whatever. I knew I could project a thought in a person. I knew I could manipulate people. I didn't know why I could do it, but I knew I could do these things, and I was being abusive. I was really abusing it. And so these beings stepped to me, and they corrected me pretty much. And they gave me a warning. They told me, first thing they told me, you got some rough days ahead of you. And the second thing they said to me, you got to be taught. Now, I didn't have the discipline back then. I was going crazy. I had this incredible energy moving through me, and I didn't have no control over it. I was trying to follow every thought that was moving, in my mind or whatever, and I was really abusive.
And so it's almost like things were being downloaded into your mind like a computer, but at a very fast rate.
It was, I just knew I had certain abilities to do things, right? Yeah, you had the negative ones trying to reach me as well as the positive ones, and I didn't want to deal with any of them because I was afraid. So I was in a sense, left out on my own. So what usually happens is that when people have this Kundalini awakening, you have the good ones who really will try to step to you and balance you and bring you into balance. But then if they can't reach you and they pull away from you, then the negative ones will really come in and plague you and utilize you eventually until they destroy you. So I was in a state, limbo state or whatever. I didn't know who to believe or what to trust or whatever. I knew if I wanted something, I could think about it and it would, it would manifest. I knew all that. I was very, very on a negative polarity. And so they stepped to me to correct me.
Whether it be good or bad, you can manifest it.
Exactly.
And I think that's why when you're at the top of the show, you were talking about, loving people unconditionally with God's love. And is that really the reason for that message? Is just so that you can control the gift to the point where you can make sure that you're not attracting negative energy?
Exactly, because it's something you fight this mental battle within your mind, and you have to overcome the law of nature within your being, And with me, it was very difficult because I didn't understand what was going on with me. So they really saved my life. They really did, because I was running
kind of like
buck
divine
wild.
if you want to call it that.
Yes. And so that's why you caution people when they attempt to awaken this energy, release this energy, because from that point on it becomes a very, very difficult battle, a long journey to really bring it under control. And it's very rare to take it beyond the crown center. There are people who do take it to the third eye center, and we say they're spiritual masters and they have knowledge about it, but to take it to the crown center and beyond, you're talking about the birth of an avatar.
And what exactly is an avatar?
You talking about, it's like this. When a person has the I am experience, right? When a person has the I am experience, you're talking about a universal type teacher, not an ordinary person just walking around. You're talking about a Christ-like being that's here on a world mission. That's what the type of people you're dealing with. So they're saying that these 144,000 universal teachers are scattered all throughout the planet, and they're here to try to pass on this information to certain people, and prepare them for what is going on.
But,
for those who are going to survive this.
Going back to the 144,000, we know that there's a lot of spiritual masters throughout time, of human history. Does that count into the 144,000, or is that just the 144,000 are the call to live at this time to help us with this transformation?
Well, the whole thing with the 144,000 deals with a vibration, a frequency, and they have these are beings who have reached that vibration. That's what it deals with. So you're talking about beings who are here that when they say in the Book of Revelation, and no one would know that new song except 144,000. That song, what it's talking about, that the music of the spheres, these beings are attuned to that. They hear it with their inner hearing. That's because they are universal beings that's going to usher in this new, this vibrational shift.
I see. And so once 2030 comes, there'll be mass destruction. What's going to happen to the planet Earth? And what's going to happen to people that live here? Between
2012 and up until 2030 is going to be total destruction. You're going to have these, all this crap going on. And after that, what people are talking about, the final transition or whatever, you will get what they call, I guess, some type of peace here on this planet.
And so, what happens when we die? I mean, what is the message about that? I mean, do we just return to that energy state or that godlike state, and is that considered heaven then?
Yeah, well, heaven and hell does not exist in an actual place. It's really like states of consciousness, right? Like, say for instance, if you're a person and you're vibrating from a very low, say you're a person, you have malice and hate in your heart or whatever, you drop your physical body because you have that malice in you, then that can cause you delay of where you're supposed to be returned. And you can get trapped in lower planes, basically. That's what happens. And planes are not really like levels or layers on top. You're dealing with different frequencies and rates of vibration. That's what it is. That in your reality, depending on how you're vibrating at your point of death, is what you will experience. In your reality is what your subconscious mind will create for you.
I see.
So it's not like God is...
What about the resurrection part where we take back on our physical body? Is that us going to another planet to take on that body, or how does that work?
What, the resurrection? What you're talking about, the resurrection, that's talking about something from dealing with something on the other side of the universe, really. It's not really dealing with this. When you die as a spirit, the spirit, right, there's this, I want to say this here. The soul is on a journey to return, right, to what they call the bosom of the Creator, whatever. The spirit is like a lost soul or whatever, something is like in limbo or get lost and like, you know, and you really not, it's not really meant to be a punishment, what they call in hell. It's just because you didn't get the correct teachings while being in the physical reality, so it delayed you from your really continuing as a soul vibrating. So it's not meant to be for you to be in a place where you're going to be suffering and eternal damnation or whatever. All of us will return. It's how we all will return to where we're supposed to be.
Wow. Well, you have been awesome to have on the show this evening. I just want to thank you again. And I would like you to come back on if you can in a few weeks and give us a part 2 to the story, because I think we just, basically have scratched the surface. I know this is not something we can just talk about in 1 hour. So I invite you to come back in a couple of weeks and, share some more things with us and more ways of how we can, prepare for 2012 and beyond.